Day lords and ladies, and welcome back to Diablo 4. So today, we are just a couple of days out from the Abattoir of Zir, and I think I have finally landed on what we're going to try as version 1 of our efforts to clear this. Okay, so what I am going to show you today is my first real attempt at making my own build. This one is completely my own thing. So we're going to run you right through really quick. Ignore the crap in my inventory, please. What we are running for this build. So I am running Shaco. I realize that not everybody has this, so I will point out that if you do not happen to have a Shaco, I would be looking for things like health regen, total armor, cooldown reduction, and perhaps life on kill would be really good. Also frees up an aspect slot, which is nice. On your chest, you'll be running the aspect of the Shielding Storm. And we are looking for things like damage, total armor, maximum life, and damage reduction on the chest. Because what we've learned from the campfire chat is that in the Abattoir of Zir, if someone on your party dies, the run is over. Just like that. So as I've been designing this, we have been looking really seriously at making sure that our health and armor is in a position where we can afford to make a mistake here and there. For the gloves, we'll be running the Blighted aspect. Mine have crit strike chance, shadow damage over time, and lucky hit chance with 4 ranks of blight. And on the pants, that will be our aspect of disobedience. And we have on mine total armor, max life, potion capacity, and damage reduction. In a perfect world, I would rather not have the potion capacity. I would prefer instead to perhaps have ranks of corpse explosion, would maybe be my ideal thing. Because we are getting quite a lot of our damage from corpse explosion. And on the boots, we have the aspect of Occult Dominion where you're taking extra mages. This is the first build we've run this season. We don't have extra Reapers, but it seems to be doing okay. On the boots, I have Intelligence, Dexterity, Movement Speed, and 4 ranks of Corpse Tendrils. Then, my weapon. Again, I realize not everybody has this. I am running the uber unique Doombringer. If you do not have a Doombringer, I would be looking for a wand with lucky hit. Something to the effect of this, vulnerable damage, dot, ultimate skill, and damage to shadow, damage affected enemies. And that would also open up the aspect slot for the aspect of ultimate shadow, which we don't have room for, and I wish I did. So, that would be my ideal alternate to Doombringer. On our choker, we are going to run the aspect of Grasping Veins, with damage, total armor, cooldown reduction, and 3 ranks of Macabre skills. Again, that's not ideal. I would maybe like the Gloom passive instead, but this is at least going to help with our cooldown for our Blood Mist. And then, for the uniques that you can get with reasonable certainty, you'll be looking for the Ring of the Sacrilegious Soul, sourced from Varshan. The Ring of Mandeln, which is sourced from the Beast in Ice, and the Lidless Wall, which can be sourced from Lord Zir. Those should be relatively easy to find, but I've heard of a lot of people have had issues getting a decent Lidless Wall. If you don't have a good one, you can always swap it out for a focus, something to this effect. With crit strike chance, I have maximum minion life, lucky hit, and cooldown reduction, is always going to be pretty solid. So then, with the gear talked about, let's talk about our vampiric powers. So, we are looking for Metamorphosis. This is going to give us just a nice little dash to apply Vampiric Curse, does a little bit of damage, has an interesting little interaction we're going to talk about this episode. We are running Undying for a little bit of extra survivability, Anticipation for the cooldown reduction for our Bone Storm, Prayer on the Weak to apply Vulnerable. I've heard that the multiplicative extra damage is not actually working on this, but fingers crossed they fix that in the Abattoir patch. And Hemomancy is my other choice here. So, our Book of the Dead, I will run you through really fast. We are taking Reapers that have an extra chance to form a corpse, Shadow Mages that fire an extra Shadow Bolt on every 4th attack, and we are sacrificing the Iron Golem. For our abilities, if I can blow this up for you really fast, we have just random points into a basic skill that we don't get to use. There is only 1 point into Blight. We're going to be taking Supernatural Blight for extra damage for our minions and all. We are getting 4 ranks from Shaco and 4 ranks from my gloves, so you don't really need any extra points into this. And then you're going to take Hewed Flesh, all 3 points. You're going to be putting 5 into both Blood Mist and Corpse Explosion. For Blood Mist, you're going to want to take the Ghastly Blood Mist for extra corpse production, and you're going to want the Blighted Corpse Explosion to make that a Darkness skill, because we are leaning into our dot here. Then you're going to take 1 point into Grim Harvest and 3 into Fueled by Death, which again just boosts your damage every time you consume a corpse. Wrinkled Sacrilegious Soul, corpses are exploding all the time, just basically free 9% multiplicative damage for doing nothing. And of course 3 points into Skeletal Warrior Mastery, 3 points into Skeletal Mage Mastery. And then we're going to come down here. I only put 1 into Reaper's Pursuit because movement speed is nice, but not really necessary, I don't think. And then we have 3 into Gloom, Terror, and Crippling Darkness. 3 into Necrotic Carapace to get the extra Fortify. And again, I just have, I think 1, maybe I have more, I don't know. Into Corpse Tendrils, you'll be taking the Plagued Corpse Tendrils to apply Vulnerable. Then down over here, we do take Bone Storm, and I have put 1 point into Bonded in Essence, Inspiring Leader, and Hellbent Commander because I'm frequently pretty close to my minions, with 2 into their increased armor and resistance to elements. Technically, not a lot of people use this. You could move this over here and just give them the extra overall. I do like Hellbent Commander myself, though. And you'll be taking the Shadowblight Capstone. For a Paragon board, then, we hop down here. So, into your glyph socket, you are going to be placing Amplify on the first board. And then, coming right up, you'll be taking the Bloodbath board first. We're not really using overpowers or ignoring the legendary node. We just really want the glyph socket, where you'll be putting in Exploit. You're going to duck up here to grab Powerhouse and the surrounding nodes for extra damage while we're healthy, because in a perfect world we're always healthy with this build. Then exit over here to the left. You're going to be using the Scent of Death board, where we are grabbing nodes like the extra damage to healthy enemies and extra damage to injured enemies. You'll be socketing Imbiber. Again, because a lot of this build relies very heavily on the idea that you're not really in the action and you're not going to be taking a lot of damage. Then, heading north, you will exit and go into the Flesh Eater board. You'll be ducking over here, of course, to get the legendary node, because it's just free multiplicative damage, given that there are corpses exploding constantly. Grab more damage to injured enemies, and damage to elites. We'll be socketing Territorial into this one. Once again, ducking out over here, we are going to the Wither board. So you are going to do a complicated little spider crawl all the way up to the glyph socket for Essence. And we're grabbing some extra shadow damage and shadow resistance. Scoot right over here, grab extra damage to shadow damage over time affected enemies. Crawl down for a damage reduction from shadow damage over time enemies. And grab the legendary node. Before eking up with our remaining points, we're going to be taking the Cult Leader board. Unfortunately, there's absolutely no way I get enough points to go up there and grab that, so we're just going to come over here to the glyph socket for Dead Razor. This is just a nice little boost for our minions. A couple of little points to boost them up. And that is how we are going to do our Paragon board. Now, I said that there was a funky little interaction with Metamorphosis. It is about time that we actually talked about this, because this is actually something that I ended up finding out quite on accident. Okay, so word on the street here is that there is a funky little interaction going on with Lucky Hit and Metamorphosis right now. It's funny because I was doing this quite on accident. I didn't find out until like just the other day that this is apparently some weird little interaction that is going on. So over here you can see that my one little Reaper skeleton is actually taking the initiative here. But if we start them off here, you can see them hitting, you know, around here for like 24,000, 20,000, 54,000. You're getting the Lucky Hit procs pretty consistently. With Metamorphosis, you dash through, all of a sudden, Lucky Hit triggers almost every time. So, my general kind of hit and run gameplay, I was just doing this on accident, but this is apparently something that you can use if you are a Metamorphosis and Ring of Men Down person, to get consistent Lucky Hit procs off of your minions, just by being squirrely and evasive and not really staying in any one place for any too long. You can see some pretty decent crits on the minions too. I'm pretty happy with that. But just for argument's sake though, if I actually participate for a second. You can see we're getting some pretty nice crits off of this. This is not going to give you like mega damage numbers. This is something that just kind of adds up over time where you're going to be able to be getting this. Relying, of course, on being able to dodge and move through. Keeping the Shadow Blight up. And you will shoot through things pretty fast. And I'm pretty pleased with my first build. Look, it's not going to be a speedrun build. Nothing I ever do will be a speedrun build, most likely. This is focusing, like I said, mainly on your survivability, because if you die in there, the run is over. If anyone on your team dies, the run is over. So we're looking into being a tanky build that is kind of balanced for now, before we move into more aggressive DPS as the ranks continue, and you just need that damage.